Hello everyone, it's Lee from Tilly Journals. Welcome back to my channel and to a slightly different video, and also one that will seem a bit outdated by the time you're seeing it. But it is the 1st of February when I'm filming this. I'm getting ahead with videos, which is why it's not coming out for ages. I can't even remember when, we can check in a sec. But I am moving into February in my bullet journal and book journal, and I just wanted to show that process and like finishing out January and stuff like that. So I think I'll probably include the book journal, but we'll see how long we're at after I've done the bullet journal, so we will see. So I've got like some of the supplies I had from setting up February, which are basically these washi tapes and these pens, and then my usual writing pen, which is this here, which is a Pilot G2. So the first thing I'm actually going to do is go through and, oh, I've not got a Tilly sticker on here, I should probably add one. And check everything is completely filled out up to date, which should be pretty quick, because most things should be. So this is something we can do. We can put memories into our yearly timeline. So I'm going to grab out my memories page from my bullet journal, which is here. And then not all of this is going to go in, because of course it's not. But like, I'm going to pull out the few main things that highlighted January. So looking at this, the three things I'm going to mark in here are gestational diabetes, my baby shower, and my nephew Otto Jesse being born. And so they're like my highlights of the month. We're going to just keep this page here because CBA. Trackers are all up to date there, my years at glance, as are my dates and games. All of that's up to date. That's up to date. So yeah, this video is going out on the 7th of March, so it's ages ago that I did this, filmed this, but yeah, haven't done any good buying. Then into my book section. As I said, this is really quick. I am up to 13 books. I've checked the book achievements already. Okay, so my book club is one of the first things we can do. So the book club I read for in January was Peaches and Pages. So how do I want to do this? I think I'm going to put the book here, then the January header over there, and then the fact that it was Peaches and Pages at the bottom. You know what I should have pulled out is some star ratings, and then I'm just going to put a little blurb of what I thought about the book in that gap, which is essentially that sadly I couldn't join the call for this, so I don't know what other people thought, but sorry, I'm getting distracted. What I thought of the book was essentially that it was fine. I wasn't particularly gripped or anything like that. So that's how that's looking. I don't know what's trying to happen. We'll need that later. So that is for book club. That's my first book club book for the year. Then I know my reading challenges are up to date, so we're keeping that going. And then Truth and Lies, I actually read The Good Lie, which I was going to stick in here. And I kind of wish I'd done this differently because this book is tiny, but also I cut it out wrong. I moved the cut line after I printed it. So that's just going to stay as it is for now. I only read one of the books. I've started the second that I've read for this. No, these are up to date because I did it earlier today. So we're now into the January section, which is generally easy. So we've come to our first page that we are actually going to have to migrate something from, but I think first I'm just going to quickly flick through and make sure that everything is filled out. It's the first, which is this day here. I am going to be coming back to this habit tracker. Same with this won't be completed until after the 2nd. Okay, so the things we need to do in here is my review page, and that's really it. Because after the review page we go into my weeklies, and then it's all like just migration stuff. So I am gonna speed up and fill this in, and I'll have a little voiceover talking about what I write in basically. And I'm going to use this memory page as some like triggers. Okay, so the wins I wrote were more dates and quality time with Soshin, keeping up with things generally, pregnancy, yoga classes, my baby shower, Otto Jesse, my nephew was born, I met up with my friend Kate, we had 2 King's Close Games nights, and Kirsten, who is part of my care team for mental health at the moment. My lessons were gestational diabetes, that diagnosis, and like everything that came with that. baby had low movements on the 31st, and I ended up going to maternity triage, and that was really challenging, and it was a good lesson that like I need to trust my instincts, but it doesn't mean something bad is happening. Other lessons were I had some really rough brain days that I found really hard in January, so there's that. Then we haven't had much intimacy time this month, so making time for intimacy is a lesson I've learnt, and that the bathroom is taking longer than I think every single time. So then I moved on to goals, and what I've written is I didn't get as much done as I wanted to, and the bathroom is very much out of control, but it was a strong start to the year overall, and I'm proud, which I think is fair. It's the first time I've done structured goal setting. I didn't do any last year. The year before that I did do it, but yeah, so it's like been a year since I've done this, and I think the progress I've made this month is pretty solid. Next up is next month, which I've said basically February is a short month, and I don't think I'll catch up or get ahead with things, but any progress is still progress in the right direction, but I am quite worried about it. Then for mood, I've marked in that I had 7 shit days, 9 okay days, and 15 good days, and I think given, like, I'm classing like neutral as positive in my mood tracker this month, so I think that's positive given where things were on the January the 1st. I've got a 4th category in February, and I think that will be more interesting to see. For my habits, I missed hitting my step goal on 8 days, which is 25% of the days. Then my worst habit as well, my other worst habit was chatting to Bump, and I need to make that a bit of a routine, and I also dropped some reading to Bump, and I wanted to focus on those 3 things in February. As for the budget, I've written that the cars caused a bit of an issue, as did me owing tax and buying a robot litter tray, but we were still under budget in 13 categories, despite being quite over in a few as well. And to be honest, with the budget we were overall under, so that's always positive. So I'm going to put this back in at the end of the month, wherever that may be here. And now let's get on to February and actually migrating into February rather than finishing everything off. So this has changed a little bit since my February setup. I changed this to this repeated love. That was Becca's idea. Thank you, Becca. If you are seeing this video, that's there. So the first thing we've got to do is our little currently page, and I'm going to just pull this out to do that. So I've just finished a book that I'm listening to, so for reading I am going to use the other book that I am reading at the moment, which is Greta and Valdin, which I'm partway through. So for watching, I've marked in This Is Us, which I feel like we're going to be watching for ages because we're, not very far through. And then we've got Playing A Way Out, which I'm playing with Soshin, Feeling Overwhelmed, Loving Bump. In the news is the Washington DC plane crash, eating healthily because of my gestational diabetes. I'm pretty much only drinking sparkling water at the moment. I'm crafting baby blankets for both my baby and my friend's baby. And then I'm also celebrating me and Sosh, because in February there's both Valentine's Day and our dating anniversary. So that's 2 things we are celebrating there. So next up we have our brain dump. So I'm going to take this page out for now because we're going to come back to it. Though I will firstly check that there's nothing new in my February calendar, and that is basically just running through and checking anything has been added that might be added, that might have been added since I filled this in. I doubt there has been. Oh, there is something there. On Wednesday the 5th we have 11 AM Kirsten. So there we go, that's the first thing we found. It's also, yeah. Then on the 7th I'm also meeting Rachel, but I probably won't, well yeah I will actually. And that is at 3 o'clock, at 1 o'clock, sorry, 1300. That's Rachel. What else have we got? But yeah, as you can see I'm just flicking it through my oh yeah, we've got 2 more appointments on the 10th. So we're probably gonna, so I've got at 9:30 I've got Rebecca, and then I've got my hair at 12 o'clock there. Anything else new? So that's everything added to my month that needs to be. We will come back to the brain dump in a few minutes. Mood, nothing needs doing to at the moment, as does sleep tracker, step tracker and self-compassion, don't need anything. My goal plan, however, does, but I need my goal planner, so I will grab that in a few minutes to come back to that page. Silver linings doesn't need anything doing. Habit tracker, we need to work out our habits, but again, that's going to come from the goal, so we'll do these two spreads with the goal plan. Memories needs nothing, and blood sugars needs nothing. My review doesn't need anything doing to it either, and then this will be my space for my I'm going to do rolling dailies, and I've set up this waterfall again, Dutch door, but with vertically this time, so I think that's going to be cute for all my weeklies. I don't normally set up all my weeklies at once, but that's what I've done this month. So the last thing we can do without grabbing my, oh sorry, there's two things. Number one is on this memories page, I like to have a little post-it on the page to write in the memories before then. So we're going to look at my brain dump, and the other thing I will have to do at some point is pull through any tasks that I don't finish this week, but then there are still 2 days left. There's the rest of today and tomorrow left of this week, so that will need migrating into February as well, but not until later. So we're going to go back, or well, we'll run through it a little bit. So in my brain dump, I do need to sort out my first response, which I think my mum is actually sorting for me, as in booking, which is guiding first aid. So that needs to come across, so that's going to get a migrated symbol. The Tilly Jones bookkeeping has been done. Life insurance has not, and needs to be a priority, so I might actually add that into my goals as well, because in case baby comes early, we really need some life insurance. Sosha's rung the disc so many times, it's on his to-do list, but I'm just leaving that to him now. My haircut is actually booked, so I can cross that off. Fixing Ducky, which was a keyring with a duck on, needs to stay on there. Pregnancy book has migrated, but via my goals, and as has seeing my sister and her baby Otto. So that's all for there. So we are just going to quickly flick across to here and see if there's anything here that needs to go on to my brain dump. I'm actually going to put the carpets on here. We need to do it this month, but yeah. So other things on here, I think most of the rest of this is going to be covered by my goals, so there's nothing else really to migrate over in there. So that's it on that page, so that can go back in. There's only 4 little things on my brain dump, so that's fine. Then we will come back to all the goals side of things, but for now I think I'm going to move on to my book journal. So just having a flick through where things are at. This page is up to date, my book tracker. I've read 13 books in January, and I'm partway through another one. So the first page here is the book of the month, and with no surprise to probably anyone, my book of the month is Onyx Storm, so I've got the cover of that just to go inside this box here, and that's there. We haven't made any progress on our reading goals. Our monthly TBR, so this is actually like started, so we're going to write that there, and that's there. Then we have my reading log, which is up to date. Obviously there is just this one book that we need to migrate into my February reading log, because I have already started it but I haven't finished it in January, so it's going to get the 27th of the 1st to question mark, and that is Greta and Valdin, as I said before. And that is by, who is it by? Rebecca K. Riley. So we put the author's name in smaller text. And it has 323 pages, and I am reading a physical copy. So that's there. That's the one migration from there. We don't need to migrate anything from our TBR because the only unfinished book on our TBR is Greta and Valdin. So then we're onto our reading tracker. So what I've done for this is I have cut out again the book covers, and I've written like what I've read and how much I've read. So the audiobook is on the left and the physical book on the right. So I'm going to go through and stick all of this down. So I think this reading tracker is a really fun visual way of seeing what books you read, and also it's quite a nice way to see visually when I'm unlikely to pick up a physical book. So for some reason Wednesdays and Fridays are a bit, and the weekend are the days I'm least likely to pick up a physical book. I do listen to an audiobook absolutely every single day, so that's really cool. It's also interesting that these boxes are not all the same size, which is a choice of the makers of this planner, but you know what you're going to do. Whilst I was sticking down stickers, I also decided to stick in my monthly book haul stickers. I only purchased 2 books, and they were both audiobooks. The rest, in fact everything I ordered here was audiobooks, but most of them were reads or free or from Audible credits. So there's that. So I used 3 Audible credits and then spent £8.48, I believe. So yeah, that's kind of it for the stickering pages. Okay, so moving on, we have our monthly reviews, which are just going to stay as they are. There's nothing to add there. That has all of my books in. So then we need to go to our top genre. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to do a little how many of each we read. So coming of age is my first category, and I have 1, 2, 3 of those. So we're just going to put a 3 in here. Romantasy, I've got 1, 2, again I think it's 3, 4. It's 4 romantasies. Mystery, I think it's just 2, but again I will just double check. Yeah. And then contemporary, we have 1, just 1 contemporary, 2 contemporaries. Non-fiction, we have 1, and then is that everything? We have a romance as well, which we have just 1 of as well. So does that add up to 13? 4, 6, 8, 9, 10. Yes, so that adds up to 13. These, I write my 5 stars in as I come up, and these were my 3 5 stars. So top genre was Romantasy, because we read the 3 Onyx Storm, Fourth Wing and Iron Flame. And then my total pages read. So I'm going to bob away for a quick second and do some maths to work this out. And Storygraph actually gives me this information. So my total pages read is, I just saw it, 1,472. We'll work out my average in a second. Physical books read. So 1, 2, just 2 physical books. Audiobooks will be quite high, I think. They're generally my preferred format. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that should leave 4 digital books. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. So from my monthly TBR, I read all of but 1, 3, 6. So I read 9 of 10 from my TBR, from my monthly TBR. But also the amount of books in general from my TBR was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So it was 11 out of 13. So it depends how you want to count that. So I'm going to put both. My total books read was 13. Series started, so serial books, which the serial book tracker is in the back of this for some reason. I think I started 2 series. So this is the Empyrean. I didn't continue any series, and I didn't complete any series. Well, kind of the Empyrean, because I'm up to date, but there's more books to come, you know. So I don't know whether you'd count that there. And then none for that. As we said before, my amount spent on books is 1, 2, 3 Audible credits. and then £7.48. There. And my book of the month we have decided is Onyx Storm by Rebecca Yarros. This Way Out came a very close second, but I decided to go with Onyx Storm. So now into February, and actually setting up February, the first thing we're going to do is put the month in here. And then we're going to, I'm not going to get very far into my TBR, but the first one is going to be Greta and Valdin. I'm probably going to expand this on my own, and Kismet Collection are the two I know are on my TBR. Then plus the other thing is the Peaches and Pages Book Club, which I believe is, I'm just double checking, the Coach Trip. But I need to, and then I want to read, I've got some baby books I want to read and stuff like that. So yeah, I will at some point add in the authors and like what prompt or what reading challenge it's for, but I'm going to expand that in my own time because I haven't worked it out and I don't think it's fair on you to sit through while I do that. Reading log, we've got the book we're partway through up there. We're not partway through an audiobook at the moment. I finished one late last night. Then this, we should really have the dates on for, and I think I'm just this month going to write them in my black pen. So I'm just going to go through and number this. So that's the numbering in there. There's nothing to add to the monthly book haul page. Reviews obviously can't happen until the books are read, and then I can't do anything to this page either. Then the last thing I just need to check, because then we go into next month, the last thing I need to check is the back of this book. So I'm fairly sure we didn't start any other series, but I'm just going to triple check on my list of reads. If I actually turn to the right page. I'm fairly sure none of the rest of these. Oh well, Freedom Miss Annie is, but there's no way I'm reading the second one, as is the Spanish Love Deception. I suppose that it's got as a second book in that series, but I think I'm going to leave that off there for now. There's nothing I can do to my yearly wrap up, I don't think. And the best book tournament, so 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. So January's is going to be Onyx Storm. Reason for the nomination is 5 stars. Loved it, basically. Depending if every month I get a 5-star, I might bring A Way Out into this as well. So we'll see. So we're just going to put Onyx Storm on that first line for later. And that's it for my reading journal. The last thing reading related I do want to do though is I want to have a bookshelf, like books read tracker. So before this books read in winter, I am going to add in some blank pages, and it's not going to have a title, I don't think. I think that's how I've decided to go with it, and I'm just going to put in these stickers of the books that I finished along with a star rating. So I think I've sized these so you get 4x4 on a page, and I do want them in the order that I finished them in. I've not quite decided whether I'm going to try and stick really neatly to lines or whether I am going to try and put them wonky, but we'll see as I put the first few down. So I am just going to speed up, and this is just going to be like a tracker of what I have read. After I've done the first like 16, I will have a better idea of how things fit. I know I measured it so it did fit 4x4, but I can't remember the exact details. But I will make it work however it fits. But these were all finished in January. So I'm going to pause now and go and get my goals book and also some star rating stickers. So I've just kept the video a bit sped up while I put in my star ratings. You can see a very quick at a glance like how I felt about the books this month. My least favourite book of the month was Miss Annie Freedom, which was a very quick little very little quick graphic novel I read. I just was fine, there was nothing exciting about it. And my favourite book obviously was Onyx Storm and This Way Out, both of which I would highly recommend. Okay, so now we're on to the trickier bit of February's setup, which is all of the goal stuff. And to be honest, I think I'm going to leave the rest of this video sped up and add a little extra voiceover until the end of the video, just because there is a lot to do, and I think otherwise this video is going to end up 3 years long and nobody's going to want to watch it. But essentially I am moving 2 pages across, so this action tracker page and this goal plan basically, so we will see how we get on with that. So just to talk you through the pages that I'm setting up as you're hearing this, is the first is my goal plan. So it's a bit backwards, well it's not a bit backwards having it here, but essentially this is the days and dates that I am trying to do the tasks for my goals. I find that the only way goals get achieved in my life is by scheduling them in. As you'll see, I don't have very much on Tuesdays, Thursdays and Fridays because they are my work days. That will change in February when I go on mat leave. I'm working the first full week of March and half day on the following Tuesday, but after that my Thursdays and Fridays will have stuff in them at least in March, before Bubby comes. I think Q2 is going to be much lighter on things. There are certain days I like to do certain things, and actually while I'm recording this voiceover I've noticed that I haven't included something, and that is that I try to reply to all of my friends on a Tuesday, like any messages, any YouTube comments, any Instagram comments, any Instagram messages and stuff, like, so I know that I've done it at least once a week, if that makes sense. So I need to add that in, but yeah, I just put everything down. Me and Soj are trying to work on the bathroom on a Saturday, and he works on it on either a Tuesday or a Wednesday with my dad. So that's in for most Saturdays. That's why the Saturdays kind of look lighter. I try and front load the things on my plan, because if they don't get done then they can go to like scappier bits later. But if you don't front load, then if you backload, then if you've got spare time earlier in the month, you probably won't like look at your goals. You'll just like take some me time or whatever, but then if you don't get it done, it's got to move to the next month, so it's just a bit orcs. I've also stuck a post-it note on this page with the things that aren't scheduled on there. Some of that is because it includes other people, so like 3 of them are seeing other people, so I need to plan with them when that's going to happen. One is, and then my business accounts, my dad helps me just finish off, so again that requires him. And then the baby buy list I'm hoping to finish this weekend, which is still in like January's goals in the way I work, because I work in 4 weeks. So that's that. Onto my habit tracker, you'll see that as well as using the goals page, my goals book, I did also look at last month's habits, and that's because some of these things are just habits I'm trying to stick to, like doing my morning and evening routine, by which I mean brushing my teeth, washing my face, that sort of thing. Doing Duolingo and Headspace, chatting to Bump and reading to Bump are kind of both goals and habits I'm trying to build. And then silver/compassion means doing my silver lining spread and my self-compassion page. Then planning is basically doing my monthly journal, my weekly, doing my journal and my 5-year journal, as well as then doing my budget and pulling out memory spreads and basically updating my habit trackers and stuff. Then my last couple of things are cuddle and chat, which is having a conversation and having a chat with Soch at some point during the day, probably mostly before bed. I've got quite a few crochet projects on the go at the moment, so I want to try and make crocheting every day, even if it's just for 10 minutes, a habit. And then to try and reduce my risk of a tear if I manage to have a vaginal delivery, is perianal massage. So I've just put that into my habits for that, even though that's kind of neither goals or it's just something I want to do. Then onto the final page of the spread that I'm setting up is my action steps page, and essentially, so there are 3 kind of sections of this. The first section is projects, and these are things that I will start and stop. They probably won't all get done in one day, although sometimes they might all get done in one go. And and so there is essentially a 4-box grid to fill in like what percentage we're up to. So you can read through those if you want to see my goals and things like that. And then number 2 that I set up is weekly things. So there are 4 weeks in February. There are exactly 4 weeks, but the cycle I'm using also uses 4 weeks. So there are 4 boxes there. Basically, each week I want to do all of those things. And then the final 3rd section, which I wrote in the wrong pen initially and then had to go back over and now looks a bit scruffy, but I don't care, is tasks. And these are things that do get done in one go. Like I will do all of it at once. So we will have one date night and that will be ticked off. I will buy life insurance, that will be ticked off. So that's what those things are. And then unfortunately my camera ran out of battery, and then I just kind of got distracted because I saw my friend had text saying her baby had been born, so I got distracted by that and forgot to hit record again to finish off the spread. But I just added some washi into the gap to kind of pull in the theme. I did debate drawing a friendship bracelet, but to be honest I couldn't really be bothered, so I just used the washi. I have gone over the boxes a little bit and you can see that I made a mistake and had to do a load of tipexing and then cover it up. Basically I thought I had more tasks than I did, so I decided not to put headers in this. I don't know whether that was the right decision, but I just went with that. And that's kind of it for those few pages that I set up, and now I will pass back to live Tilly. That sounds so random, but like Tilly that is filming whilst she is talking, to go through the end of this video, because I think that's pretty much it. Okay, so that is it for my February migration. So we have my little February tab with our currently on the back here. My brain dump, which may grow, may not, may stay that long. Got my little sales tracker down here that obviously I haven't made any sales. It's the first today, so that is there. My monthly with all my events and things like that on. There, it's looking like quite a full month to be honest, but we're going to ignore that. My mood tracker, which I'm still a little bit sad is not 180 degrees the other way, but it is what it is. So that's my little mood tracker. Then we have my sleep log, which we haven't touched, my step log, and my self-compassion page, which again haven't needed anything. Here is my little goal plan, and my little post-it with extra bits on that need to go in at some point, but I haven't got time for them yet. I've actually added this as a list on my March setup. I'm going to do that. Then we have my spread for silver linings, which again I haven't had to touch today because I will touch it this evening. We have our new habits, which I haven't gone over in the voiceover, so I'm not going to go over that again, but that's our little habit tracker. Our action step page, and I love how this little pile of washi looks here. I'm actually loving the ease of the washi setup this month. Got my memory spread with the post-it on for like writing down things that I'm going to draw, because I tend to draw it in bulk. And then I have my blood sugars page, again haven't had to touch that, and my February review. Part of the reason I have then washi taped here is because I might take this out and put it into my weeklies, like so that it's right there while I'm working on a weekly, but I might not, so that's why this page is washied here. And yes, I could have started my weeklies, dailies, because I think I'm going to do rapid daily logging on here. I'm just going to do dailies this month, and just use what space I need. I could have started on this page, but I really liked the idea of doing another washi waterfall, so that's what I've done, and we will just go with it and see what happens. I might think of something to do with this page, but I might not. It might just stay blank, though that does seem wasteful because there's another blank page here. But yeah, that is it for my February migration, and I am all ready for the month now, which is a good job as it is the first of the month. So comment, like down below, did you enjoy this video? Have you watched it all the way through? This entire process took just a bit over an hour, with my reading journal as well. So obviously we filled in these pages. I'll just have a quick flick through reading journal for January and February. So let's put the book of the month there. This is January, and I will go and add to my TBR list as well for January my monthly reviews. They are mostly spoiler free. My month wrap up, and then into February we've got my monthly TBR. By the way, the colours I choose are to like try and match this picture here, so that's why the colours I've used are there. We've got a reading log, our reading tracker nicely set up. All of this doesn't really need any setup, but that is what it looks like, blank and nicely coloured in. So that's our reading journal, and that is it for this video. Comment, like down below, all that kind of jazz, and I hope to see you in my next one. Thanks for watching. Bye!